Welcome. This is my quick little review of how to create a plot using a Google Sheets spreadsheet, or also more generally in Excel as well. So what I've done here is this is a tab you have access to in the Hooks Law Mystery Data Collection spreadsheet. So there, we have an instruction tab, a data collection tab, and a help with making plots tab. So let's go over the very basics of how to create a plot in general using Google Sheets. So what I have here is a table of just some sample values of an independent variable and a dependent variable. So for example, this might be the force of gravity from your mass and is the independent variable, and your dependent variable would be your change in distance of your spring. So remember, Google Sheets tries to be smart, and if you actually highlight all of your data of interest, including the titles, including the headings, and from here you can actually create a plot from two different ways. You can go over and mouse over to this Insert Chart icon, and if you click on it, it'll pop open a menu, or you can go to the Insert tab and click Insert Chart here. Both methods are equivalent. Once you click on Insert Chart, Google Sheets is going to do its best to figure out which type of chart you want to use. We're actually going to list it as a scatter chart over here. So remember that Google Sheets will pop up a big chart editor to your right. So we're going to have a scatter chart. Okay, I do not want the line in it yet. I want it as the independent plotted dots. Okay, scatter chart. We're going to make sure that it has plotted the correct variables on the correct axes. So good, we have our independent variable on our X, our dependent variable on our Y. Remember that you can double click on these various axes titles in order to change it to what you want. So for example, maybe we want to say this is the force of gravity of the masses versus the change in distance of whatever spring we're working with. Maybe that's spring A, spring B, whatever you're working with. All right. So again, we can double click on any axis of interest and it'll let us actually edit the title, edit the font, edit the format, all that good stuff. And we see these details over in our chart editor column, okay? All right, so at the end of the day, I want your chart to be clean looking, right? I need it to be clean, not super cluttered. Don't make it weird colors. I need a good title. So this title is perfect, right? It tells me exactly what's going on. I need you to label your axes. So for example, if your dependent variable is change in distance of your spring, I need you to say that. I also need you to include the appropriate units. So we should be working in meters. Our independent variable here should be our force of gravity for each mass. And remember, our unit there is newtons. All right, beautiful. So once you have plotted your data, I want you to add a trend line to your data. So our trend line is going to try to fit the best it can through our data points. Now, this plot here should look pretty linear to you. It may not be as perfect as this line here, but that's okay. So if I actually double click on one of the dots here, it's going to actually pop open that chart editor menu for it. And we are going to scroll down and add data labels. I'm sorry, trend line, my bad. We're going to add trend line. So click it. We want it to be a linear trend line because that's what this is. And I also want the label. So I want you to label using your equation here, okay? So a little label is going to pop up on your actual chart corresponding to your data points and also the equation. So I want y'all to think about what equation does this correspond to for our Hooks Law Spring lab, okay? So you're going to utilize this equation, and again, how we get there. Double click on our data points. Back to customize, there we go. We're going to see under format data point, we're going to see trend line. Click on trend line. We want to have it as linear, and we want to use equation. That's how you're going to get your equation from it. All right, if you have other questions, y'all, ask each other, consult Google, try to figure it out on your own before you come ask me. All right?